Yo, we are back for another amazing episode. I'm excited about this one. Pretty ignorant to what's going on in this world, but another amazing episode of the Man to Man Pod. One half of the pod, Darius Butler. Got my co-host with me, my main man, AB.
What's going on?
And then we got a special guest with us today, man. Jacob Eisenberg. He's the community lead over at NBA Top Shot and Dapper Labs, formerly the Overtime. But got Jacob in the building, man. Welcome.
Darius, Antoine, thanks for having me, man.
No problem, man. No problem. We're excited about this, man. So what you been up to, man? Obviously we know what you've been up to, but how's the pandemic been treating you, man? How you been adjusting?
It's been wild. Lost a job in the pandemic, found a job in the pandemic. Now on a serious grind where, Top Shot is going through a moment, so to speak. So we're just trying to keep up with the demand. It's been a little overwhelming. Certainly a lot to do every day, but it's been really rewarding to see this community kind of blossom out of nothing. And couldn't be any more excited about the future because we know we have a lot of great things cooking.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm excited to get more, learn about your story. We're obviously going to get to the Top Shop stuff. But we want to learn about Jacob. In your profile, I see the first thing in your profile, pass first point guard. We talk about hooping a lot on this pod. We had Rudy Gay on here. I went to UConn, which is a basketball school, pretty much. So tell us about your basketball game. Did you play hoops organized growing up? Tell me about your hoop game, man.
Rec League All-Star, nothing better than that.
Okay.
I think in college, I kind of hit my stride. I was playing pretty much every day. And at that point, I think I actually was going to the court with kind of that killer mentality of like, I could be the best one on the floor any given day. In high school, certainly was more a rec league guy. I kind of had a nice bag of tricks, but couldn't shoot. Couldn't hit the right side of a barn with my jump shot. So that's why I'm a pass first point guard, right? Not a shoot first.
Yep.
But it's been fun. Playing basketball has been a huge part of my life since I was 3 years old. While I have certain athletic limitations, I always thought that I saw the floor particularly well and could kind of read defenses. So nothing got me more excited than a nice backdoor cut, hitting people in stride. Okay. So that's where the pass first point guard comes from.
Yes, ain't nothing wrong with the pass first point guard. Obviously, you watch the NBA game now. You don't see too many of those. So I respect it, man. I respect it. So do you still play a lot? You still, when you in your free time, do you play a lot?
Yeah, so through the pandemic, I haven't been, but I plan to get back into it right as soon as I get vaxxed up. Super excited. New York, it's kind of hard to find gym space, right? So there are a few different open runs with some high school friends that I've been kind of getting into over the years. But now with Top Shot, the work is just so immense on a weekly basis that I think, this is kind of the future for me for a little while, just trying to catch up to the overwhelming demand. And hopefully in a year or two, I'll be able to get some Saturdays back to get to the gym and shoot some hoops.
Yeah, I feel you. So in the NBA right now, are there any, who are your favorite point guards right now? Actually, your favorite players, but who's your favorite point guard right now in the NBA? And then is there a favorite Top Shot of a point guard right now that you like?
Yeah, so my favorite point guard in the league right now is probably Steph Curry. Not too original there. He's going to go down. All-time great. I think he's underappreciated. I think when he retires, needless to say, greatest shooter of all time. But I think also one of the top 10 passers of all time. I think some of the passes he makes certainly take a back seat because he's such a great shooter. But I remember I watched him in college. I went to the Jimmy V Classic at MSG. He went up against a West Virginia team that had just made it pretty far in the NCAA tournament the year before. And Steph had this one left-handed full court pass hitting his teammate in stride. And he was with Davidson. He had a few guys on the team that had cups of coffee with like the G League or Summer League, but certainly no NBA talent on that team. And he single-handedly willed his team to victory. I've always just been kind of amazed by what he can do on the court. But I'll give a more kind of hipster take because everyone loves Steph. I think Facundo Campazzo on the Denver Nuggets, backup point guard.
Is that number 7?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Yeah, he sees the floor.
He sees the floor, and he has these behind the back passes. He's really flashy. I'm also a big fan of kind of Ricky Rubio. Any guy that is a pass first point guard, I just resonate with that.
Special place. Yeah, they got a special place in your heart.
Bonus points if they can't shoot, because then I really have that connection, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Any chance the Top Shot for this game comes to the NFL side? Any chance we get some of these in football?
I think that's the hope, right? Like, I think, I can't speak to any specific brand IP, but like when it comes to right now, we have the UFC signed up to build something pretty special on Flow next. And the idea behind Top Shot is kind of trying to be the Trojan horse for a whole generation of people that the word crypto or blockchain was intimidating to them. We're trying to show the masses that blockchain is actually a friend. It could be a really fun way to interact with everyone on the internet. So I think one of the beauties of Top Shot is you can create an account, you can use your credit card, you can cash out to your US bank. There's no kind of requirement to be into crypto to be able to use Top Shot. And I think as we've continued to see kind of this overwhelming demand, I think it gives us a lot of confidence that over time, more and more big sports leagues will want to build on blockchain, because there's nothing super specific about the NBA that makes it perfect for blockchain. I think every sport has like show-stopping highlights, awe-inspiring moments that you can turn into an immortalized token in the blockchain space.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of you just D-Butt just mentioned it, and you kind of jumped into it. So for those that don't know what it is or never heard of it, like, how did this come about? Like, what was the process like, and then how did you get involved?
Yeah, so in 2017, so let me take a step back. I work for a company called Dapper Labs. Dapper Labs has 4 or 5 concurrent projects that we're building.
Hold on, wait. Why we take a step back? Hold on, wait, Jacob, because me and AB, we knew pretty early on what we wanted to be when we grew up, right? And this whole space didn't even exist, wasn't even close to being in existence when you were the age that we were at when we had that. So what did Jacob want to be when he grew up?
I wanted to be the GM of the New York Knicks. I was
GM of the New York Knicks.
That was the dream job from a young age. And, in college, I guess I got my foot in the door in the sports industry. I went to school in Atlanta, and I got to cover the Atlanta Hawks for the school newspaper. So I used that access to build a connection with some coaches, some scouts around the league. Obviously got locker room access, got to interview players, make great stories around kind of under the radar guys that I thought were on the come up. And after about 2 years of doing that, I just realized that the journalism career is just a grind, man. It's hard to make a living. There are a ton of people like myself who were just trying to crack into the industry, willing to work for free just to kind of get that foot in the door. And that was only going to continue to progress. So as I kind of took a step back, I realized like, being a GM is going to be really hard, right? Because you're going to have to work your grind up. And not that I'm opposed to the hard work, but after kind of doing 2 or 3 years of the journalism angle and then transitioning over to become a scout, I realized that it wasn't necessarily a meritocracy. It was a lot of who you know.
Oh, yeah.
More than kind of what you can bring to the table. So I saw a career path that would have required me to really get heavy into data science. So learning SQL, learning R, learning all of these different coding platforms, essentially, Python. And I took intro level courses with all of them, passed all of them. And it just really took the fun out of being an obsessive sports fan. It really removed that from me. And I believe in the analytics. I think that they have a place. I think there has to be a marriage of the eye test with the analytics. I don't think you can lean on just a spreadsheet. But yeah, I mean, as I was kind of coding, okay, who are the most clutch players in the NBA? And I was doing all of these kind of programmatic, like, okay, I see Dion Waiters' name's coming up a lot. Okay, let me do some film research, figure out why. But as I was doing that coding, I was kind of like, this is somewhat soulless. I don't like this as much. Obviously, I'm not a player. It's going to be really hard for me to move up the ladder. I can speak with conviction about why this guy should be given a third year non-guarantee, like based on injury history, but it's hard for me to justify to someone at a team why I can add more value than maybe a former player or someone that is just really heavy into the data science, majored in, engineering or data, wherever they went to school. So I transitioned to being a scout. I worked for Draft Express, which at the time was kind of the preeminent scouting service for NBA and what we call the 61st pick. So players that weren't quite good enough to make the NBA, but have lucrative careers overseas. I got to scout high school, got to scout college, got to scout international for them. Great opportunity. They ended up getting acquired by ESPN. At that time, I was realizing that even the scouting route was going to be such a grind and really hard to, A, get health insurance, B, get an opportunity to like have a stable source of income. So I transitioned over to the startup world. I joined a very small team at an app called Daily Bracket. There were only 4 of us there. So it was kind of like that pinch yourself. You just graduated from school, trying to figure out what comes next. And you're in this really cool environment where you're working on a sports app. The premise for that app was kind of like ESPN Streak for the Cash. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like that pick'em platform. So you basically, you do like a sports pick'em every day, you get 50 in a row, right? You win $1 million. We kind of took that idea and made it every day. You have 5 pick'ems. If you go 3 for 5 with your picks, you can win a prize. On the 5th day, you can get $10. On the 10th day, you can get $20. And then it trickles up to 50 days, you can win $1 million. That was really fun. But after after football and basketball season ended, and we only had baseball as our pick'em of the day, we lost about 90% of our user base there. So after about a year there of just riding that emotional roller coaster, I remember feeling so elated. We had like 50,000 daily active users on Super Bowl Sunday, and it felt like we had made it. We had started to go a little more mainstream. And then sure enough, we lost pretty much all of them around the summer when there weren't kind of the major sports to keep everyone interested. I transitioned over. I left Daily Bracket and I went to an app called Amino. When I was in college, I actually spent a year in Brazil studying Portuguese. So I was hired by Amino to be kind of our liaison to the Portuguese world. So interacting with Brazilian users, interacting with Portuguese users, and just kind of trying to build communities on that platform. Their kind of vibe was Reddit meets Tumblr. So trying to be Reddit for a younger demographic, so to speak. Gotcha. And there I grew our NBA community in English to about 130,000 members, and got really great experience working with really young, hungry, scrappy volunteers that wanted to just build an awesome NBA community. And the main kind of value proposition of that community, I think, was sort of like if your Facebook feed was dedicated exclusively to NBA heads. So you as like a high school student could write a blog about why Jimmy Butler deserves consideration as a top 10 player, and you're publishing that out to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of NBA fans to engage with your content. So like, unlike me, who I started my career as like a sports writer trying to write for my high school newspaper. If I came around 10 years later, I could have done that for Amino, gotten a much bigger following on that platform.
Right to the NBA.
That's right.
NBA, yep.
So that was super rewarding, but similar situation to Daily Bracket. At a certain point, you kind of have to read the tea leaves and see, like, is there anything more that I can do here? I felt pretty proud of the accomplishments we had made. Not only had I worked on the NBA community and the Portuguese communities, but I had grown like our dirt bike community, our reptile fanatic community. So I was just like meeting all of these unique niche people around the internet that were really into these very, very specific hobbies. And that was cool because it reaffirmed kind of that I love community building and that through the internet, you can make the world a less lonely place. I think there were a lot of people on that platform that probably didn't have someone in their high school or middle school that they could relate to about their hobbies and interests. So Amino provided that outlet. Was there for about 3.5 years and left for a great opportunity at Overtime. You had mentioned at the top of the pod, Darius. Overtime, obviously preeminent content creators, especially amongst Gen Z. I had a cup of coffee there, frankly. Like I joined the team primarily to help kind of facilitate in real life fan meetups. Overtime, a roster of about 5 to 10 on-air talent that host the shows and are influencers. So around All-Star Weekend, for example, it was my job to coordinate kind of the fan meetup with our influencers and our fans that were in Chicago last year. I went down to Atlanta to do a video shoot with Trae Young, and I helped pick 3 Trae Young fanatics in the Atlanta area to play one-on-one against him for a play or two as a part of that video. So that was a lot of fun, but the reality was my role was primarily to do in real life fan meetups. The pandemic hit, in real life became quickly untenable, right? Not safe. And there was at the time, there was no clarity around when the NBA season would return. There was no clarity around when any sport would return. So I think Overtime, to their credit, they acted decisively and they, I wasn't able to stick around, which was definitely a blow at the time. I felt like I was getting my footing there. I had only been there for months, but I firmly believe everything happens for a reason. I went back to the drawing board. I was kind of thinking, okay, what do I want to do next? I think through that experience, I realized that as cool as the Overtime experience is and getting so much great access with these who's next in the NBA, right? Like the superstars in high school, I realized my passion really is lying with the NBA and working in the NBA, working with, I like to think that there are a few, and certainly there are some, but there are a few people that can kind of roll off why so-and-so player on the Portland Trail Blazers didn't work out in Miami or Phoenix before, and why Portland's the right fit for Derek Jones Jr. or things like that. Why the mid-level exception is a good move for him in Portland, whereas if he went to Minnesota, why he wouldn't have been utilized as well. So that's not like the most articulate way to put it, but I certainly for my entire life, especially in college, I was on that league pass grind where every night I was watching 3-4 games a night, memorizing these players, where they went to school, how much their salaries were, kind of what their contract nuances were, and how they acted with the CBA.
You've been a NBA super fan from the jump. So so how, I guess what the people want to know, I know you guys went live with the Top Shot during the pandemic, October 2020, and what led up to creating that? How did the team come together? How did you get on that team? And then I guess just go right, because I know you got to get. I know you're a busy guy, so then I want you to get and just let us know what NFTs are. Explain it to us. I guess NFTs for dummies. I know it's a non-fungible token, but how does that work with? What's the difference of owning a Top Shop and owning like a gift or a picture of a highlight?
Absolutely. So what I would say first and foremost is like, one of the central theses of Dapper Labs. That's the company I work for. They're the company that founded NBA Top Shot. They also founded the Flow blockchain that NBA Top Shot is built on. The central thesis of the company is every 10 years or so, there's a technological revolution, right? So you can date back to the 80s with like Atari and Nintendo as the original video games. And then the 90s, the internet. 2000s, we got social media. 2010s, we got smartphones. With each of those technological revolutions, there's been one catalyst, and the catalyst every time has been gaming. So you can kind of think of Facebook in 2009 had 200 million daily active users. Farmville comes to the platform. All the boomers come because they love Farmville. By 2011, we got 800 million daily active users on Facebook. So 4x'd in 2 years, and gaming was a big part of that. So when we look at Dapper Labs and the blockchain, Darius, I know you've been in crypto for a little while now, but for the past 5 years or so, 10 years, however long blockchain technology has really been kind of forward facing, it's primarily dealt with currencies, right? Exchanges of currencies. But Dapper Labs' kind of vision is we can bring gaming and collectibles to the blockchain in a way that's never been done before. So in 2017, we launched Cryptokitties. Cryptokitties was kind of Neopets on the blockchain, so to speak. So you can buy a digital cat and you can breed it with another digital cat, and you basically create your own digital NFTs. And the premise was pretty simple. Like, all of these cats are very, very specific. They're all NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I think the easiest way to explain a non-fungible token is if you have a dollar bill and Antoine has a dollar bill, that dollar bill is the exact same, right? There's no different value in that dollar bill. Whereas on NBA Top Shot, what makes a LeBron James moment an NFT is that serial number 1 or that serial number 23 is going to have more value because it's the first mint or his jersey number than serial number 784. So because each of these moments has its unique serial number, it means that there are no two of the exact same of that moment, which means that each collector has true ownership of their specific moment. And all of this is authenticated in the blockchain. So you can see both the scarcity and who owns each moment in a way that's never really been done before.
Okay, and there's no way to, I guess, bootleg the blockchain. There's no way to fool the system.
That's right. That's right.
Or somebody can sell you a fake.
That's right. So you can kind of, the most common criticism I hear is, why would I buy a digital highlight when I can go to YouTube and watch that highlight for free? And I get it. It's a very abstract concept. It's new. It doesn't have to be for everyone. But what I would say is, what is stopping someone from typing in on Google LeBron James rookie card, printing out that LeBron James rookie card, hiring a good graphic designer, paying them a few $100 to make an exact replica, and putting that up on your wall as if you own that $1 million card, right? Like, at the end of the day, unless you have the licensing and authentication from the league and the Players Association for that matter, there's no real value there. And especially on blockchain, where it's impossible to counterfeit, because this all exists under NBATopShot.com. So if you go to the marketplace with your digital replica that you're trying to forge, it's going to be impossible to bring that into the marketplace and the ecosystem to transact. So in order to have an opportunity to kind of engage and interact in this marketplace, you have to have a vested stake, and that stake would be a moment in your collection.
Where do you see this going? Say 5-10 years down the line, down the road, where do you see this going?
Well, so one thing that I think is really exciting is, because this is all digital, the opportunity for utility is really just scratching the surface, right? When you're talking about physical, there's just constraints there, right? You have to deal with shipping, you have to deal with getting a card graded, and no shade whatsoever. I'm a trading card collector myself, but when we're talking about on the blockchain and digital, there are so many opportunities where you can create fantasy games around the moments you own. You can create, we're launching a mobile game actually that, the moments from your collection will help power up your team in the game. So that should be a fun utility. And I think long-term, we could take like the best of what Pokemon Go did, right? And you can go to an arena and you can get, rather than having a ticket stub, you can maybe have your ticket be an NFT in itself that you have in your digital wallet. And because you went to the game and you have that digital ticket stub, it can maybe earn you a free moment from that game that you were just at, right?
Oh, wow, that's dope.
there's a lot of potential here. You can have exclusive moments based on which state you're in, which city you're in. Like, I think the possibilities there, again, we're just scratching the surface.
Now, I know you guys have hit some, we like to talk about money on this show too. I know you guys have hit some crazy numbers pretty early on, but did you guys do any research into, like, you spoke about gaming? I know 2K, like I'm a big 2K guy. And I know over the years, I've kind of started playing it less because they start going a little more to the Gen Z with buying cars and buying packs and things like that. Did you guys do any research into the revenue that they were making as far as 2K, and did that have any effect on your guys' business model?
So I don't know if it had an effect on our business model. Certainly we're looking at other players in the space. And I think you're right on the money, Darius, when you say that, like, 2K is, in one sense, another company that has done a really great job with digital collectibles through these packs. But I think we're kind of at an intersection of where the trading card space is, where the 2K, the Madden Ultimate Team, the FIFA Ultimate Team spaces, and then the fantasy sports angle of it as well, where there are a lot of collectors that are really big into fantasy sports, and some of them look at it like daily fantasy sports, where they see Jason Tatum, Celtics are going to play on national TV 3 times this week. Let me buy up a lot of Jason Tatum moments because I think that he's going to average 40 points a game over the next week, and then his market will appreciate in that week. And then there are other collectors that look at it more like a keeper league, right? Where, I want to get a LaMelo Ball first career assist because I think that moment 20 years from now, if LaMelo makes the Hall of Fame, is going to be unbelievably valuable in this community of Hornets fans and LaMelo fans around the world.
Okay, cool,
man. It's good to know, man. I don't know. I'm not a gamer, but just to hear, where this is going and where this can go, man, it's definitely an eye opener. Just as far as how this world we're in now, man, you can really tap into any and everything. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. And I know the 2K, those card packs, I know they had to bring in over $1 billion just with that alone. But what was I going to ask you? Back on it was on the money. Okay, so the money, back to the money. Trading cards. I saw Luka's his card just sold for like a record $4.5 million. I want to say KD had one sold for $1 million.
I think Kobe just had one.
The Kobe break, how does that affect your guys' industry? And how does your industry affect the trading card industry? Is there any correlation? Is there any relation, with those prices and the value?
It's a good question, and I appreciate the opportunity. So I think that they exist coincidingly. I don't think that I think in our dream world, there's collectors that love trading cards that immediately understand why NBA Top Shot moments are valuable and fun and want to collect both. We're certainly seeing some trading card collectors say, if it's digital, it's worthless to me. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's fine. Top Shot doesn't have to be for everyone. There's certainly a lot of collectors that weren't involved in trading cards and have started to love Top Shot and understand there's kind of a different layer there. I think when we're talking about the money, obviously the huge numbers, the 6-figure sales capture most of the headlines. But I think like one of the really cool things I'm seeing is that an overwhelming number of our collectors own more than 3 moments, and more than half of the moments acquired in the marketplace have sold for under $50. So you don't have to be a big whale to get involved in NBA Top Shot. Rather than knowing anything about crypto, it's probably more important for you to know a little bit about the NBA. You can figure out, I like this player. I think he's a little undervalued by the community right now. And undervalued is interesting because there are all these different layers. You can look at, with a trading card, it's kind of there's the still image of the card itself, and you can basically identify its value based on who the player is and whether it's a rookie or if there's a relic on it, be a jersey card or an autograph card, With Top Shot, I think it's kind of a confluence of 4 or 5 different angles, right? It's the player for sure, but also how cool is the highlight? What serial number do you own? Because the lower the serial number, generally, the more valued it is by the community. Whether the moment came.
And when you own that moment, does the NBA own part of it too? Because obviously, I'm sure you guys have some type of licensing agreement. But if Darius was to buy a Top Shot, does the NBA own a certain percentage of that, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when it comes to the moment, the collectible itself, you own it 100%. Now, similar to trading cards, that doesn't give you the license to the image. You don't own the highlight. You don't own the rights to disseminate that highlight. You own the rights to own that moment. The way that we work with the NBA and the Players Association is Rev Share on transactions, right? So if you're a seller, I'm selling this moment for $10. Or let's scale it up. Let's say I'm selling this moment for $100. Mm-hmm. There's a 5% seller's fee, similar to what you might see on like Airbnb, for example. And in that seller's fee, there's a rev share between Dapper, NBA, and the Players Association. So unlike maybe a trading card company where the league and the Players Association gets a rev share on the primary sale, but then I snag that Zion autograph card from that pack and I put that on eBay. There's no kind of residual going to the Players Association or the league on that secondary market. Whereas on Top Shot, you get both a rev share on primary and secondary sales.
Okay, dope, man. I know we gotta let you get out of here, but that's pretty much. I mean, I guess how do we? Well, what's the highest selling moment so far on Top Shot?
So we did
right now.
We had a LeBron moment sell for about $208,000 about 2 weeks ago now. But again, like I think that the sticker shock and the huge 6-figure sums, I understand why it captures the attention, but I really want to kind of emphasize, because I think there is kind of this misunderstanding now in the media and the narrative of these huge sales that Top Shot is only for wealthy people. Like the reality is that we had over 130,000 people buy a pack, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. The pack costs $9. You can, again, use your credit card. You can eventually cash out to your US bank. There's no requirement at all to be wealthy to get involved in this. Certainly there are some moments that, like any ecosystem,
it's going to cost more.
Any ecosystem that's predicated on supply and demand, LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, those are always going to be in high demand. But that's where NBA junkies like myself might, appreciate like finding their favorite player that isn't going for insane amounts of money.
Yeah. Let me ask you, and I wanted to ask you about that. And I'm just thinking of a player who's just having he's having a phenomenal year this year. And we kind of seen the growth, but like a Zach LaVine, right? Mm-hmm. So like a Zach LaVine having a great year. Previously, some decent years, but not crazy. Would that be like a player that, like if you're a huge NBA fan or you're a Zach LaVine fan, say, hey, I'm gonna buy this or whatever, and I'm gonna sit on it, and hopefully in a year or two or whatever the case may be, the stock may grow. Is it kind of like a similar, situation that you kind of thinking about? Or talking about?
Absolutely. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of collectors come to Top Shot with that mindset of, I want to invest, get out real quick, just make a quick buck. And through the process of collecting these moments, they start to enjoy it a lot more than they thought they would. So I always try to pitch Top Shot more like an arcade than an investment, right? So you go to the arcade as a kid, and you're going to the arcade knowing full well that if you're amazing at the arcade, you can rack up enough tickets to go to the redemption prize booth and get that PlayStation. But you're not going to the arcade to win a PlayStation. You're going to the arcade to
I was about to say, it's not going to be fun. You should compete there all day too.
So I look at Top Shot the same way. Sure, there could be opportunities to find undervalued moments in the marketplace. Right. But I think the collectors that are coming for a quick buck are going to be the ones that have the least enjoyment here. And we're certainly seeing in our community there are some collectors whose accounts have skyrocketed in value, and yet they're not satisfied because they want perfection, and we are very much still in beta, trying to work on our product to make sure that by the time we leave beta, the growing pains that we've experienced, such as site going down or marketplace being a little faulty, like those are things that we have a great read on how to fix the problem, and it's just a matter of we can't flip a switch and make it happen overnight.
Yeah,
gotcha. All right, so how do we sign up? Anybody that's listening, how do we sign up for NBA Top Shots? How many users are on the platform already? And after that, we'll let you go.
So we got a few 100,000 collectors, anywhere between 300 to 500,000. I would say it's kind of hard to read exactly because we do have quite a lot of similar with the sneakerhead community. We have quite a lot of bad actors that are creating many accounts and bots to try to get all the inventory.
Damn bots.
So right now we have, if you go to NBATopShot.com, signups are currently disabled. We intermittently turn it on. We basically hit a weekly threshold of this is the number of new accounts we can take in without compromising the experience. But if you go to Top Shot, sign up with your email. We'll shoot you an email as soon as signups are back open for you. And we want to see as many sports fans, NBA fans come to our community because like with trading cards, like with memorabilia in general, as the community grows, as the interest grows, it just makes it that much more fun for everyone involved.
All right. Got you, man.
Right,
Appreciate you.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate hearing your story, sharing with us about Top Shot. Once again, Jason Eisenberg. You can follow him at Eisenberg43 on Twitter. And then obviously NBA Top Shot, man. Appreciate you taking out the time on your busy schedule. I'll be signing up, man. Hopefully I don't have to wait too long. If I do, I'm gonna be hitting your line again, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Darius.
I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna let Darius tell me about it. I'm probably not gonna tap into that space, but I love it. I love it.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Stay safe.
Yeah, you do the same.
Take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Yep, I'm gonna stay in my lane on that one.
If you didn't get the Levine, I thought you was about to get the Levine.
Nah, I mean, I definitely would have my own little strategy as far as if I would tap into that. It would be buy and sit, buy and hold. You know what I'm saying, and just see what happens with it. But I'm
gonna sign up. Let me see what they're talking about. I might get lucky with a pack or two.
Yeah, nah. You would have called me back in the day, though. I definitely would have been on it because I was definitely big on. I know he says it's not similar as collecting cards and things of that nature, but I was definitely big on that. I got
what you got in the collection, man? You got anything? I was about to say, you got anything?
So that's what I'm saying. Like speaking on that, I just talked to my mom and my pops. I'm like, yo, I gotta find my card collection. Cause I had probably like 3 5-inch binders full. I had the little plastic.
So you had them plastic. So you got them.
I had them in the plastic, front and back. I had 2 in each, so I could, front and back. And then I remember I had like a cardboard box where I had a lot of cards. So I definitely got it when I get back to the crib.
Man, I ain't collected nothing growing up.
Shit, I collected comic books too, man. It was yeah. But I gave up on the comic books. I don't know where my comic books are now, man. But it's funny where like everything always comes back full circle. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
You probably collected Pokemon too. I don't know. Them little kitty joints they used to have was in middle school.
But you had some grown folks out there. You had some grown folks out there collecting them joints, like, you know what I mean. But
that's a fact.
I definitely don't play me like that, son.
That boy had to. I knew the names back in the day, though. I ain't gonna lie.
It's the reason why you knew the name.
Nah, because them shit's worth money.
Word.
Charmander, Pikachu. Everybody knew Pikachu.
Okay. What you had?
I ain't had none of them, but
okay.
Shit, I probably should have. But yeah, man, I wish I would have collected some junk. I definitely see the similarities though. But everything going digital, man. These kids going in 2K. I want to say they did like 1 point, because obviously the company that they work with, it's a public company, so they gotta publish all the numbers. I want to say they made like 1.5 billion off of like those card packs. So I know that has something to do with these new industries coming about, man. But it's pretty dope, man. Pretty good to get a little more understanding of what's behind it. Like he said, it ain't for everybody. It ain't for AB. AB ain't in it.
AB, I'm definitely not getting in it. But like I said, I'm definitely gonna be on your like, yo, what you do this week, what you do this week. But I know, you know, some things, man. I just, like I said, I always tell I'm gonna stay in my lane at all times. Stay in my lane.
Who was that dude at the Colts who collected everybody's card? It was a dude. I know if you remember when I first got there. He worked for the Colts in some capacity. It was on a training camp. And I gave him my card. And I remember he showed me his collection. He had like Peyton rookie card, Edgerrin, York, like anybody who came through the Colts, he had their card. He worked in like the equipment room or something. I gotta figure out his name, man.
I don't know, but I run across a lot of people on just IG. Tyler Sports Guy, I know he's on IG, and he's a big time card collector. He just, you know, he bigs me up every now and then. He'll shoot a DM to me. He'll shoot like a card, like, hey, I found this card of you. I found this card of you. I found this card of you. I'm like, damn, I don't know where you're getting this stuff, but it's a big business now. You know what I mean? It's a huge business. You know what I mean? So. Man, I mean, again, man, I think everybody finds their niche. Everybody has their hobby that it's not even a hobby now. Like some people look at this like full-time jobs, or, you know, see if I could, you know what I mean, if I can find me a collector's piece or a piece that's a rare piece or a rare card. But I mean, everybody finds their little niche, man. They tap into it.
Something, man. I know you probably collect. What you collect now, man? Now that you know, grown, man. You collect watches, cars.
I'm not a car collector. Art. You know, say it again.
I said art.
I'm getting on the art. I'm doing that. It's crazy. I'm actually going to a dinner on this weekend where it's going to be some curators, some artists, some sellers and buyers that I'm gonna go and just rub some shoulders with. But I'm still on like I'm not as big, but you know, I still sit on shoes. You know what I mean? So now when I look and see shoes that's coming back out, I go up in the closet and be like, yo, you know what I mean? I've been sitting on these for like 10 years and still fresh. You know what I mean? So I know the wife would be like, yo, like let's clean some of this space. I'm like, nah,
not them,
not these.
That shoe game like the dope game now, boy.
For real. And then it's crazy. Obviously, I forgot her name, but that the VP of Nike. You know what I mean? When she just stepped down, you know, her son
was in on that shit too.
Of course, no question. Like, you know what I mean? But like her son, like I couldn't imagine what his bank account looks like, bro.
I guarantee she was making more with that business is what she's making at Nike.
Bro,
it was guarantee that.
Ridiculous, because the resale.
Saw the pictures of all the.
Man, what did I?
That was wild. So and she actually told Nike. I want to say like 3 years ago. She told them kind of the business that her son had with the resale, blah blah. And they ain't do nothing about it. And then when everything came out, then she stepped down and. Nike actually posted something today. I put it on my story talking about.
I've seen that about the bots.
Yeah, trying not to have the bots and shit like that. And I don't do it like you said. You the shoe guy, but I know a lot of people who go on those apps, the sneakers apps, the GOAT, it's a few of them, but and they are a lot of they be sold out.
It be sold out. Within seconds. Yeah. But I'm not big on the apps. You know what I mean? So my thing is, if I. The guy that I had to go through to get my shoes.
You still got the plug.
If he can't get them, and if you don't send me anything about $1,000 for some shoes or $500, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my thing is like, I like them, I want them. What can you do? Well, it gonna be here for this. Well, all right, it can go on to the next one. But if it's some Jones that I can, I can get for a good number, then I'll do that. And during this pandemic shit, I ain't getting fly no way. So 9 something out of 10, they just sitting in the box anyway. So
yeah.
But that's the only thing I'm collecting right now. Watch here and there. The watches, man, you can pass those down. They hold their value pretty well. Timepieces hold their value pretty well. But other than that, man, I'm good.
That shoe game, crazy. I actually had one of my college teammates. I posted some shoes, and then he hit me like, "Oh, I can get them for you. Just shoot me." I'm like, "Oh, bet. How much?" It's certain shoes that I see. I'm like, "Oh, I want them." So I'm like, "How much?" So I'm thinking he gonna hit me for probably like 800-900 maybe. That was like my number where I was like, okay, I ain't going past that.
Yeah.
He like send me 2 in shipping. So I'm like, oh, you looking out? Like this damn retail.
You got the plug for real.
Yeah. So I'm like, bet. So he sent me like 10 pictures of the shoes. I'm like, bet. Like, and then he put like high quality reps or something like that. So I'm like, reps, like. High quality, you mean like replicas? I'm like, hold on, what you mean high quality reps? These fakes? Yeah. He like, hey, you show me another shoe, you show me the original next. I'm like, oh no, I'm good.
Hey, but
it ain't that serious to me, but that's a whole nother business.
That's a whole nother business, bro. And that's crazy thing about it. It's a whole nother business where people are getting money. Because you got to think about like the average buyer, the average person would have went ahead and be like, all right, boom, like I'll send you that. Fact. Because now, 99% of the people you got some shoes on, they not gonna run up on you and be like, yo, let me see. Back in the day in school,
in locker room.
The locker room in school, definitely like, yo, like, man, you got them fake jokes on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like let me see that. You know what I'm saying? But now,
let me see the tag.
Let me see your tag. Like, yo, get off me, yo, get off me, get off me.
He'll figure sport.
Yeah, man, but yeah, man, it's a crazy game now. Crazy game.
That shit, man. I'm glad I asked. He could have got me. He could have got me if he was like, hey, because I wouldn't have known to, check for this and look for that and pull this and y'all real sneakerheads.
Boy, D-Buck Green out here.
Hey. Boy, now I know the ask. Anytime I know when the deal sound too good though. I'm like, hold on, 2 is
200. Yeah.
Oh, you tripping? But it was the joints with the MJ signature on the back. The one with some ones.
The original Jones, the OGs.
I don't know the names, and I feel like they come out with the same shoes.
Same shoe,
different names for them.
Yeah,
so
they do.
It looked a little ashy.
Yeah,
like a signature on the back. It was hard though, but yeah, y'all be careful out here with them reps. And what? Do your thing if you want shit. Hey, do your thing, man. Because I know some people who make a lot of bread, and I know somebody that told me that, hey, yo, these shit ain't real, bro. Oh shit.
Hey, some people they good with it. Like
as long as it matches, it's smart. It's smart. If you ain't going to resell them and you ain't doing nothing, do your thing, man. They look real on IG.
I know you only gonna get a couple wears out of them though. I know that for sure.
Yeah. So if y'all see me with them ones, make sure y'all get me because they reps. If y'all see me with the red ones, don't let me slide. You won't see me, but if I double back, like I'm fucking with y'all, man. But yeah, man, what else you got, man? Anything else?
Man,
get up out of here.
Sure, that's it.
Very educational episode.
For sure. I got a lot of game today on this episode.
Yeah, facts. Learned a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people that had a lot of questions about, just what it is as a whole. It's a whole shit. It's a whole new world out here, honestly. Like he said, every 10 years, that shit made a lot of sense when he said it too. Every 10 years is kind of a tech revolution. So I think that, that time frame only will get smarter. So hopefully y'all learned something. Like we said, we're going to bring y'all some different things, some different type interviews, here in the Man to Man pod. So appreciate y'all rocking with us.
As always.
Yes, sir. We out of here.
Peace.